Good morning, everybody. Good, bright Monday morning, everybody. Welcome to Team TDF's Wellbeing Webinar. And for those who've joined us regularly, you know that we're online every day at 10:30 a.m., where you can experience different techniques from our wonderful different therapists. My name is Geraldine. People call me Gigi. And I'll be taking you through the physical well-being webinar this morning. We'll finish round about 11 o'clock. So I wanted to say that regular exercise is so important for our well-being, our mental health being, our physical well-being. So come and join me and just enjoy the experience. Now, all your videos and chat boxes are switched off. So whilst you can see me, and you can hear me, I can't see you or hear you. What you can do, however, is to email us at therapysupport@tdf.org.uk for any comments. And we love your feedback because based on your feedback, we can design the well-being webinars to suit you. And on that issue, I need to tell you that please don't embark on a physical exercise program without the permission of your doctor. And for those of you who are joining me this morning, enjoy the webinar, go at your own pace. Make sure your environment is safe for you. Many of the, in fact, I'm sure all of the exercises can be done from seated on a chair, and just go at a pace that suits you, that's safe for you. Use whatever props suit you, and please rest when you find it too stressful or too challenging. Let's see. So I have today my yoga mat, I have my brick, my block, and I do use these props. And without further ado, I thought let's come to standing today. And I thought hands at the side. Let's start with some breathing. So we're going to breathe. We've done this rhythm before, but we're going to breathe to the 4-7-8 rhythm. You can close your eyes. And what we do is we breathe in for 4, we hold for 7, and then we breathe out slowly for 8. And as we breathe in, we expand the lungs. Holding the breath just challenges the whole rib capacity, and then we breathe out slowly. So let's go. Let's breathe in. And again, in for 4. And out for 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. 2 more. Breathe in for 4. And out for 8, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. And the last one at your own pace. Well done. Hands forward, pointing the index fingers up in the shape of a rocket, and we're going to stretch up. So breathing in, breathing out as we take the arms up as far as you can go. For some of you that might be adequate, for others you might be able to join me. Taking the arms right up. I try and go down at the ears. Sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't work. Drop your shoulders. Lovely stretch down the side of my arms into the shoulder blades themselves. Pointing, pointing, and release. And from here, we're going to make a fist, releasing the wrists. Now, taking the right hand over the left wrist, we're going to pull the left side of the body towards the right, stretching the left side of the body. Stretch there, breathing. One more. Back to center. Shake it out. And taking the left hand over the right wrist, over the right side. Stretching the right side of the body. Release. You should feel the shoulders should be nice and warm. In fact, let's roll them out. Creating circulation in the shoulders. Getting the blood cells moving, warming up the shoulder blades, creating some flexibility. And now releasing the fingers, activating them, releasing them. Let's put them onto the shoulders. Elbows as close together as you can, and we're going to circle the elbows. Try to keep the elbows as close together all the way around. And apart. Oh, lovely. And back together. Up, 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 up. Elbows together. There they come apart. Around the back. Together. And let's meet in the front and the other way around at your own pace. Up, 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 up. Together. Stretch, stretch, stretch. And down. Up, 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 up. Shoulders should feel nice and warm. And from here, let's go into some sort of balance. Not into some sort of balance, let's go into a balance. Because balance is one of the first things that we lose as we get older. So for today, we're going to look at feet hip width apart. For those of you who are new to the program, I do work barefoot because I feel that I'm grounded when I'm barefoot. I don't slip. My toes are spread and I'm in control of my alignment and my body. In socks, sometimes we can slip, or in stockings we can slip. So feet hip width apart, and look down, stretch the toes, spread them apart, and transferring the weight to the left-hand side. Now what we need to do when we do balance is we don't want to lean over to one side or to the other or backwards. So what I suggest we do is we put our hands on the pelvis. You can feel those hip bones. And we imagine that in front of the hip bones, we've got two beacons of light, and we don't want the light to juggle. We want the light to face straight forward. So two beacons of light. And by putting our hands on the hips, we can actually make sure that one side doesn't rise while the other goes down. Try to keep them as level as we can. So keeping the hands on the hip bones, transferring the weight to the left-hand side, breathing in, pulling the belly button towards the spine, just slight pull. Let's try and lift the right toes up. Breathing in, breathing out, and maybe we can get it off the mat. Maybe we can take the right foot up a little higher. Maybe we can even align the right knee with the right hip. All the time keeping the hips aligned. And release. Well done. And let's Let's shake it out. So with a balance, I find that if we focus on a spot in front of us, that helps as well. So transferring the weight to the other foot, to the right foot. And when we're ready, hands on the hips, just to hold our beacons aligned. Focusing on a spot in front of us. If we can, lifting the left toes up. Does that work? Yeah. If we can take the left toes off the floor. Slowly lifting the left leg so that the knee is in line with the left hip. And my hips are aligned, they haven't bent, they haven't moved. And release. Balance. We've done this before, but we're going to just add another dimension to it today. So feet hip width apart, come to the back of the mat, or the back of your space, focusing on a spot in front of you. We're going to put the right foot in front of the left, so that the right heel is touching the left toes. If that doesn't work for you, you can increase the stance or the space between the stance. If you can join me, we're going to walk towards the end of the mat. With concentration. And the extra dimension today is to either turn around and do the same thing, starting with the right foot, or to come to the front of the mat, facing forward, and this time to walk backwards. One foot behind the other, heel to toe, yeah. Give yourselves a clap. Let me know. Let us know how you managed. And from here, we're going to come to sitting. And after all that hard work, let's keep the big toes together, spread the knees, sit back onto the sitting bones. If you need to, you can use a blanket or you can use a block. They make it more comfortable for you. And we're just going to take a wonderful stretch forward, taking the arms forward as far as you can. And resting the head as low as you can. If you can't get the head onto the floor, you can always take a block again. Rest the head on a block or a blanket or a brick, a book. And take your time coming up onto all fours for a bit of cat and cow. So what we've got to watch out for here is that our knees are in line with our hips and our wrists in line with our elbows, in line with our shoulders. Setting up, we spread the fingers as far apart as we can. The baby finger is usually stretched towards the side of the mat. Nice long alignment from the head to the tailbone. And breathing in, breathing out as we raise the belly, dropping the head between the elbows. And dropping the belly into a cat-cow position. And again, raising the belly, breathing in, pulling the belly button towards the spine. And dropping the stomach all the way back. I want you to look at the setup because you're really trying to push the whole upper body away from the mat. So you're not collapsing into the mat. We're stretching as much as we can. The elbows are pointing forwards, so we're shining those elbows forward. By doing that, we're rotating the upper arms inwards and pulling the body up. And as we raise the stomach, as we raise the lower body, up, 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 followed by the upper spine, and lastly, the head between the elbows. And as we release, let's release by starting with the lower back, taking the stretch through the upper body, and lastly through the head. Lovely. And still on all fours. If it's hard on your wrists, in fact, let's all come back to a stretch. So again, toes together, knees apart, and just come back into a stretch, releasing the wrists, so making a fist. And then coming back onto all fours. Knees under the hips. And again, if this is still sore on your wrists, what you can do is to make a fist so that you're sitting on your wrists like this. Or let's stretch out the wrists another way. So instead of pointing the fingers forward, take the wrists back so that they're pointing towards your knees. And we stretch out the wrists that way. And resetting, fingers facing forward, spreading the fingers, pressing into the meaty part between the second finger and the thumb. Let's kick out the right hips and look over to the right foot. Sorry. Kick out the left hip and looking over the right shoulder to the right toes. Centering and then kicking out to the right, looking over the left shoulder to the left toes. Delicious stretch. Right, so now, just a little challenge for today. I've got a long straight spine. Yeah. I want you to imagine that you've taken your very, very best china teacups out the cupboard. And you're going to put one on the right hip, one on the left hip, and they mustn't move because if they move, we're going to break them. Set up our alignment, teacups on our hips, fingers spread, elbows facing forwards, pulling up, 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 out the body. We're going to lift the right leg off the ground. And remember those teacups, so we don't want to go like that. Just want to lift the right hips up, keeping the upper body, the spine long, long, all the way from the top of the neck to the base of the spine. Ah, lovely stretch for the inside of the hips, for the inside of the legs. and release. Walk it out, set up. I'm just going to come so I don't knock myself. And the other way, remember those teacups? Let's lift the left leg up just as much as we can. I like to call this exercise a dog at the fire hydrant. And if you visualize that, that sometimes helps. Keeping the teacups as still as we can. Let's lift the left leg up. Eventually in line with the left hip. Lovely stretch for the inside of the left leg. Upper left leg. And back. How did you do? Did you lose your teacups? Or did you manage that? And from here we're going to come onto our backs. Yeah, I hear you say. Take your time getting there. As we roll down, let's try and imagine stretching that spine out one vertebra at a time. Until we come to lying down, take a full body stretch. Breathe. Our hands at the side. Toes facing the ceiling. Let's activate the heels. So the heels are pushing towards the wall, the toes coming towards you. So pushing away with the heels, bringing the toes towards you. We look at the spine. We're breathing in, so pulling the belly button towards the spine, dropping the lower ribs, dropping the lower spine so that it's touching the mat. Dropping the upper spine, dropping the chest, so that our whole spine is imprinted on the mat. And that in itself should be a lovely stretch. I'm going to come into bridge, so bending the right foot so the soles on the floor, bending the left foot so the knees are facing the ceiling. We're going to take the third finger in line with the back of the heels. Now sometimes that doesn't work for you. It's fine. Take the stance wider, even wider. But if you can, try and work towards bringing those heels towards that third finger. And once we set up, feet hip width apart. We need to watch those knees because the knees tend to want to come out. Keep the knees in line with the hips. As we breathe in and we lift the spine one vertebra at a time off the mat, just onto your shoulder blades. Clenching the buttocks, pushing the belly button in towards the spine, lifting the buttocks up as high as we can, making sure the knees remain in line, hip width apart. Oh, feel the stretch in the quads, in the hamstrings, in the buttocks, and release. Phew. One vertebra at a time. Lower back, coming onto the mat. Lovely. And again, breathing in, breathing out. As we curl the spine up, one vertebra at a time, starting from the lower spine, creating space between each of those vertebrae. As we push up, pushing the quads up onto the shoulder blades, making sure that our knees are aligned. Exercising the big glutes. Lovely. You can feel them. Exercising the hamstrings. You can feel them. Quads. Making sure the knees don't flop out. Chin up to the sky. And looking up. Holding belly button towards the spine. Breathe, 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 and release one vertebra at a time. Well done. Almost there. What we're going to do now is we're going to bend the feet so the soles on the floor, mat width apart, hands stretched out in a T shape, so shoulder width apart. We're going to rotate to the right, taking our head to the left. This is like windshield wiper position, so we just take the feet to the right, stretching out the spine as we look over to the left. Breathe. Back to the center, taking the legs to the other way. So knees facing the left. Hands outstretched. Head looking over your shoulders to the right. Lovely stretch. And from here, going to bend the knees, they're facing the ceiling, lifting the feet off the floor, one hand on each knee as we rotate the knees in opposite directions. Now this exercise I love because when we get to the furthest point, hang in there, hold the knees wide, keeping the spine as straight as we can, imprinted on the mat, and enjoy that stretch. Big stretch for the knees. And release, bring them together, and one more in that direction. At its furthest point, just holding the knees wide, stretching the upper inside of the knee, of the legs. Breathe, spine imprinted on the mat. Looking up, chin facing the ceiling, and release. And let's take it twice the other way. At its furthest point, keeping that stretch before we bring it back. And around, making the knees work for a living. Out. Stretch. And from here, come on to one side and make your way up to seated. For one last stretch. So you can come to folded, legs folded in front of you. If it's easier, legs apart, folded lower down, or one leg on top of the other, whatever is comfortable for you. We're just going to do a few neck circles. Imagine that you have that the tip of your nose is the tip of a pencil. And let's just circle the head down, around, across, and again, all the way around, taking your time across. Every time I do this exercise, my nose goes, my neck goes crinkle, crinkle, like crinkle paper. So I must be sitting at the computer a lot and all the things that we do during the day, looking at the television, opening cupboards. Neck needs some TLC too, and the other way. Circling all the way around. Beautiful stretch for the neck. Taking your time and at your own pace. opening the eyes. And on that delicious note, hands together. Thank you for coming to my class. You did it. You came, you showed up. You get a gold star. Before I leave you, just to say that we offer these webinars for your enjoyment and for your pleasure, but also to help you learn different techniques, as I said, from our different therapists, and to enable you to use the well-being lessons throughout the day and throughout the week. I hope you'll join me next week on Monday, same time. But before I leave you, I wanted to say that if you did enjoy today, we hope that you will value the webinars as much as we value giving them to you. We rely on your donations to keep us going, and hopefully these webinars will continue forever. But they can only do that with your help. So if you are able to donate whatever you can, please go onto our website, which is www.tdf.org.uk, www.tdf.org.uk, and you'll see a Virgin logo there, and if you just click that, you'll be able to donate something to our wonderful charity. We've got lots and lots of new things happening in our charity, but we will tell you those with time. Thank you for joining me today. Have a great rest of the week. Bye now.